Have you ever felt that? That really powerful, almost intoxicating feeling when a new connection seems just so right,
Oh, absolutely.
so deeply desired, that maybe, just maybe, you find yourself kind of filtering out
No.
so some details that aren't quite perfect.
Yeah, that potential, it can create real blind spots, especially, when you're genuinely hungry for that connection.
It's such a human thing.
Yeah.
And it makes you ask, doesn't it? How easily can we overlook really obvious warnings when we just want something to be true?
That pull is incredibly strong. That yearning for connection, it's one of our deepest psychological drivers, I think.
Hmm.
And it often makes us, well, extremely receptive to any story that fits our hopes.
Even when the evidence points somewhere else entirely.
Precisely.
Okay, so today we're doing a deep dive into a really fascinating story, sometimes honestly a bit unsettling. It's all about relationship red flags. And this specific story, part one of John and Rosie Linda's red flag story, it comes directly from rdflags.com. You can actually read the whole thing there.
Right.
Our mission today, really, is to unpack the psychology behind why we sometimes, choose to ignore those flashing warning signs, even when they're practically waving in our faces.
And I love how the material puts it. It says, names have been changed for the protection of the not so innocent,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
which kind of gives you a feel for the twists and turns we're dealing with here. It's maybe less about clear villains and victims
Right.
and more about the psychological forces just swirling around.
I love that line, too. It set such a great tone, almost a bit mischievous, like we're getting the inside scoop.
Yeah.
And as we go through John and Rosie Linda's journey, we really want you, listening, to maybe think about your own experiences or things you've seen,
Yeah.
about red flags. So let's start with John.
Okay.
So the story kicks off with John. Picture this.
Yeah.
He's 50. He's living in his childhood bedroom, still eating at his parents' kitchen table.
Wow. 50.
Yeah. And he definitely didn't see himself as desperate. No way. He'd tell you he was just waiting for the right one.
The classic line.
Totally. But, as the account points out pretty sharply, when you're 50 and, well, your steadiest relationship is with your mom's cooking, that line between patient and pathetic, it starts to get kind of blurry.
Yeah. That really set the scene. Psychologically, what's happening there?
Well, what do you think? It seems like there's this huge gap, right,
Hmm.
between how he sees himself patiently waiting and his actual situation.
Absolutely. That internal story, I'm patient, it's like a shield, isn't it? Maybe against the uncomfortable truth.
That's nice.
It's not just about finding a person. It seems more about needing validation, needing to feel like he belongs, needs that have clearly been unmet for a long, long time.
The story nails it when it says, loneliness is the kind of hunger that makes even microwave leftovers seem like gourmet meals.
Oof.
That's
That's evocative. And when you're that hungry, metaphorically speaking, your standards, your filters,
Yeah.
they just plummet, don't they?
Yeah. And to add another layer, the material talks about his financial situation is precarious. He's doing odd jobs, barely scraping by. Living with his parents isn't a choice. It's pure necessity. The idea of him supporting a family is described as, as realistic as him winning the lottery without buying a ticket.
So you've got this intense personal loneliness plus this major financial vulnerability. That creates a kind of psychological vacuum, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, exactly.
It makes perfect sense. The external pressures like money troubles combined with those deep internal longings. It's a perfect storm brewing.
He can't offer much, practically.
Right, which probably just cranks up his desire for an emotional connection even more. It primes him, really. Makes him less picky, more open to any kind of flattering attention because it fills that void, Gives that fragile ego a much-needed boost.
And then, boom, into this pretty bleak landscape of loneliness, Rosie Linda appears.
Enter Rosie Linda.
The story paints her like this vision of innocence. She's 20, long brown hair that shimmered in the glow of her heavily filtered photos, big brown eyes that screamed innocence, or maybe good lighting.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the parentheses are telling. And her profile, it read like, and this is a quote, a Hallmark card on steroids.
Almost too perfect, right?
Totally. She supposedly said, I'm looking for true love. Age doesn't matter. Never been kissed. Never been on a real date. Waiting for someone to show me what love really is. I mean, wow.
For someone like John, in his situation, that's potent stuff. What kind of emotional trap is that laying?
Oh, it's like bait designed specifically for him. It hits all his unmet needs.
Well, it sent his mind into total overdrive.
Hmm.
The story says he nearly choked on his instant noodles seeing her profile.
Just picture it.
He clicked message faster than a teenager double-tapping an Instagram post. And unbelievably, she replied, eagerly.
Wow.
Laughed at his jokes, said she loved older men because they were wise, swore she'd never been with anyone. John immediately decided he'd scored himself the last pure girl in America.
Oh, boy. He's not just seeing a young woman there, is he?
Not at all.
He's seeing this fantasy, this Disney princess, maybe, who validates his entire lonely existence. He's projecting everything onto her.
It's pure idealization right from the get-go.
Absolutely. He's not engaging with a real person. He's engaging with a vessel for all his pent-up hopes. His whole I'm patient narrative suddenly flips to my patience has been rewarded with this miracle.
And at first, it seemed like it was bliss, or the online version. Anyway, long texts, sweet emojis, goodnight calls. John was flying high.
Convinced he'd struck gold.
Totally. His ego just inflated, bragging to himself, she's young, she's beautiful, she's innocent. She chose me. The account says his self-esteem hadn't felt that high since the Clinton administration.
Meanwhile, though, the story gives us a little peek into her side, too. Rosie Linda was apparently loving the attention. Every message, every declaration of love was like a little ego boost, more validation.
So it's reciprocal in a way.
In a way, yeah. Both getting something, even if their understanding of what this is completely different. It's a recipe for misinterpretation, really.
Okay, and this next part, this is where things really start to shift. The first, concrete warning sign. The story mentions Rosie Linda enjoyed the occasional help John offered. A little money for groceries, maybe help with the phone bill.
Small stuff initially.
Yeah. And John was eager to be the provider. But crucially, she wasn't about to correct him.
Ah, that's significant. What's happening there psychologically, especially for John, he doesn't see it as a red flag.
Apparently not. It seems like instead of a warning, he saw it as confirmation. Like proof of his role, proof she needed him.
Right. He's finally stepping into that provider role he's probably always wanted. It feels good. It proves his worth in his mind.
And is this where that sunk cost thing starts?
Exactly. The sunk cost fallacy begins creeping in, even small amounts. The more he invests time, emotion, now money, the harder it is psychologically to back out.
Each dollar makes the relationship feel more real to him.
It reinforces the belief, yeah. Even as the actual red flags are starting to pile up. And the material itself warns us, right? That amazing line. But red flags. Oh, honey, the red flags could have covered a football field.
Oh, absolutely they could have. And one huge one pops up during a video call.
Okay.
John asks to video chat. She agrees, but the camera is always super tight on her face. No background, no surrounding sounds. Kind of weird, right?
Very controlled. Suspicious, yeah.
Until one night,
Ah.
clear as day, a little kid's voice pipes up off camera.
Mommy, can I have juice?
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
Most people would hit the brakes hard right there, surely.
You'd think.
A 20-year-old who's never been kissed has a kid calling her mommy during a late-night chat. That blows her entire story out of the water.
It directly challenges that whole innocent narrative John's bought into.
Completely.
And Rosie Linda. Her cover-up was fast, but she was obviously flustered. Oh, I'm babysitting. Yeah? My cousin's kid. Just for tonight.
Right. A likely story. But the account says most people would pause. But John wasn't most people. His desperation rewired his logic. He just accepted it, tucked that massive red flag neatly into the sock drawer.
Wow.
How does that level of desperation just override something so blatant? That cognitive dissonance must be screaming.
It's like textbook confirmation bias, isn't it?
Yeah.
But amplified by that intense emotional hunger.
Totally. Confirmation bias, we look for stuff that confirms what we want to believe. He desperately wanted to believe in the innocent Rosie Linda.
So when faced with something that contradicts it, the kid's voice.
His mind just scrambled. That's the cognitive dissonance, the discomfort when belief clashes with reality. To reduce that discomfort, he latches onto her flimsy excuse.
He suppresses or reinterprets the conflicting info.
Exactly. Protecting the fantasy becomes more important than seeing the truth. He prioritizes the narrative he needs over, well, reality. It's a powerful mental defense mechanism.
And after that incident, the money requests started getting bigger.
Predictable, maybe?
Yeah. The money talks weren't quite so subtle anymore. Things like, rent is so high, or I just don't know how I'll afford groceries this week.
Playing on his desire to be the hero.
Totally. And John, her knight in shining armor, would insist on helping. His wallet, the story says, was basically on speed dial. He was fully committed.
And what did he get in return? That's key here.
Well, each time he sent money, Rosie Linda apparently responded with sweet words, affection, even promises of their future.
The feedback loop. So
Well-
he's not just sending cash. He feels like he's investing in their shared future. And he gets emotional currency back, validation, hope.
It reinforces his belief that this is real, that it's leading somewhere.
Even though he's broke.
He genuinely mistook every dollar spent as proof that their love was real. He rationalized it as an investment in their future.
Despite having nothing to invest, really.
And the story just deadpans. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
It wasn't, this isn't just bad money management, is it? It's a profound miscalculation of value.
Completely. It shows how tangled financial and emotional investments get in these dynamics. His self-worth is now tied to being her provider.
Even though he can't really afford it.
Right. So he creates this grand narrative about love and sacrifice to justify it, masking the danger. The sunk cost fallacy is just raging now. The more he puts in, the less he can afford to admit it might be a waste.
So he doubles down,
Yeah,
believes harder.
exactly. It has to pay off eventually, in his mind.
So this goes on for 2 years.
2 years. Wow.
2 years of John scrimping and saving for a plane ticket to finally meet her in person. Skipping lunches, hoarding paychecks, buying nothing for himself.
While his friends think he's lost it.
Yep, friends thought he was nuts. Parents just rolled their eyes.
That level of determination, despite everything, it just shows how powerful that fantasy had become for him.
He was willing to put up with isolation, serious financial hardship, because he truly believed true love was waiting for him.
He saw it as a noble sacrifice, willing to starve if that's what it took. It's incredible how deeply embedded a hopeful story can get, even against all odds.
So the day finally comes. John packs his best shirt, polishes his shoes. He's rehearsed how he'll sweep Rosie Linda off her feet.
It's a big moment.
On the plane, his mind is just racing, imagining laughter, hugs, meeting her parents, all the good stuff.
The payoff for 2 years of sacrifice.
But the story leaves us hanging with this really chilling line. He didn't imagine what actually happened.
Oof. What a cliffhanger. It just perfectly captures that massive gap between his hopes and what sounds like impending disaster.
Yeah.
It really drives home the core theme here, doesn't it? The potentially devastating consequences when that desperation, combined with things like confirmation bias, just blinds us.
Blinds us to really obvious warnings.
John's journey is such a potent example of how easily we can build a story that feeds our emotional needs, even when the facts are screaming otherwise. It makes you think about the mental frameworks we all construct, to shield ourselves from uncomfortable truths.
That is a really compelling thought to end on for now. It's so clear that John's journey through all this desperation and the red flags he just chose to ignore, it's really just the beginning of their story, isn't it?
We've only just scratched the surface of the psychology involved here and what happens next.
Well, it promises to reveal even more about our capacity for both hope and, frankly, self-deception.
It's a powerful reminder, like you said, that the stories we tell ourselves, especially when we feel vulnerable, can be incredibly convincing.
Sometimes dangerously so. Understanding these undercurrents, though, might help us navigate our own lives and relationships a bit better.
Absolutely. So thinking about John and Rosie Linda's story so far, what stood out to you listening? How do you think desperation can blind us to things an outsider sees immediately?
Yeah, and how much do we want to believe a certain story, especially one that meets a deep need, even when the evidence is right there? These are big questions. For anyone who wants to find out what did actually happen when John landed, you can read the rest of John and Rosie Linda's story and explore other narratives about relationship dynamics and warning signs. It's all on rdflags.com.
Yeah, check it out. You can even identify your own potential red flags there, too.
Definitely worth a look. We really hope this deep dive is giving you some things to think about the power of emotional hunger and the subtle but really significant ways we can sometimes overlook what's right in front of us.